Welcome back to the Metaphysics Podcast, everyone. I'm Dennis Goddard, and I'm joined today by Louise Hicks.
Hi, everyone.
So we're taking a deep dive today into how aligning with your true self can help you manifest the things you desire.
Yeah, it's this really fascinating idea that we all have these two distinct vibrations at play within us.
Two vibrations. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Mm.
Tell me more about that.
So imagine one vibration represents your source energy, like the pure positive energy of your true self. And then there's this other vibration, and this one's generated by, your thoughts and emotions, which, let's face it, can be all over the place sometimes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're saying that sometimes these vibrations are in sync and other times they kind of clash?
Exactly. When you're focused on positive, loving thoughts, your vibrations align and you feel this amazing sense of harmony. But, when you dwell on those negative thoughts, well, your vibrations clash and that leads to feeling resistance and just discomfort.
So how do we know when we're actually in alignment? What are the signs?
Well, that's where the concept of the emotional guidance scale comes in. It helps us understand our emotional state as an indicator of our alignment. Think of it as a spectrum with, high-frequency emotions like joy, love, and appreciation at the top. And then at the bottom, you have those lower-frequency emotions like fear, anger, and despair.
So the higher the frequency of our emotions, the more aligned we are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're feeling good, it's a sign that your thoughts and actions are in sync with your source energy, and that's when things really start flowing effortlessly in your life,
Okay, this is starting to make sense. But what happens when we get stuck in those lower frequency emotions? The fear, the doubt, the worry that can really hold us back.
It's like paddling upstream against a really strong current. Everything feels so much harder than it needs to be. The key is to learn how to shift our vibration and start flowing downstream with the current of our desires.
Going with the flow. I love that. But how do we actually do that, especially when we're feeling stuck in a negative spiral?
Well, it all starts with recognizing that nothing you truly desire is upstream. It's all flowing downstream towards you. But when you're focused on what you don't want, the problems and obstacles, you're essentially paddling in the wrong direction.
So if we're constantly fixated on what we lack or what we're afraid of, we're actually pushing ourselves further away from our desires.
Exactly. And the source material uses this great analogy of missing our stuff. It's like we're on this treasure hunt surrounded by everything we've ever wanted, but we're so busy looking in the wrong direction that we miss it completely.
It's like when you can't find your keys and you've looked everywhere only to realize they were in your pocket the whole time. We can be so blind to what's right in front of us.
Exactly. And that's why it's crucial to learn how to shift our vibration and start paddling downstream towards our desires.
So how do we make that shift? How do we start paddling in the right direction?
That's what we'll be exploring in the next part of our deep dive. We'll delve into the power of relief and how it can help us align with our true selves and manifest our desires with more ease and joy.
All right, then. Don't go anywhere.
So before the break, we were talking about how important it is to shift our vibration and go with the flow of our desires.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to learn how we can actually make that shift, especially when we're, feeling stuck in a negative spiral.
Well, one of the most powerful tools we have is the power of relief.
Relief. How does that help us manifest our desires?
Okay, think of it this way. When you're feeling anxious, frustrated, overwhelmed, it can be really hard to jump straight to a state of joy or excitement.
Oh, absolutely. It's like trying to climb Mount Everest in flip-flops.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Exactly. But relief is always accessible, no matter where you are on that emotional scale. It's like finding a small, cozy cabin halfway up the mountain, where you can recharge and gather your strength before continuing the climb.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to force ourselves to feel happy when we're feeling down, we can just focus on finding a sense of relief.
Precisely. And even a small shift towards relief can make a huge difference. It's like turning your metaphorical raft downstream, allowing you to move with the current of your desires instead of fighting against it.
So what are some practical ways to cultivate a sense of relief in our daily lives?
Well, it could be something as simple as taking a few deep breaths, stepping outside for some fresh air, or listening to a piece of music that soothes your soul.
Those are great ideas.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember that relief doesn't have to be this grand, dramatic experience. It can be found in the smallest of moments.
Absolutely. Sometimes just acknowledging your feelings without judgment can bring a sense of relief. It's like saying to yourself, okay, I'm feeling stressed right now, and that's okay. I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to allow myself to feel it and then let it go.
It's about creating space for our emotions instead of suppressing them or letting them control us.
Exactly. And as you practice finding relief in those challenging moments, you'll start to notice that it becomes easier to shift your vibration and align with your desires.
This is making so much sense.
Yeah.
And I have a question about this whole missing our stuff analogy.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that we're often surrounded by the things we desire, but we're too focused on what we lack to see them.
Yes, and it's a common experience for so many people. It's like we're wearing these lack goggles that filter out all the abundance that's already present in our lives.
So how do we take off those lack goggles and start seeing the opportunities that are right in front of us?
It all comes back to alignment. When you're in a state of resistance paddling upstream against the current, your vibration is out of sync with the vibration of your desires. It's like trying to tune into a radio station using the wrong frequency. You'll just get static.
So by choosing relief and aligning with our source energy, we're essentially adjusting our frequency to match the vibration of our desires.
Precisely. And as you do that, you'll start to notice those synchronicities, those serendipitous moments that seem to guide you towards your goals. It's like the universe starts conspiring to help you manifest your desires once you're in alignment with them.
That's incredible. So it's not about forcing things to happen or trying to control every outcome. It's about getting into that flow state where we're open to receiving the abundance that's already flowing towards us.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that this is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when you find yourself paddling upstream again, getting caught up in those negative thoughts and emotions. But the key is to be aware of it, to recognize when you're out of alignment and to gently guide yourself back towards that feeling of relief.
It's like learning to ride a bike. You might wobble and fall a few times, but eventually you find your balance and start gliding effortlessly.
What a perfect analogy. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. You have your inner guidance system, your source energy always guiding you towards your highest good. It's just a matter of tuning into that guidance and trusting the process.
This is also inspiring, and it really makes you think about those areas of your life where you might be paddling upstream without even realizing it. Maybe it's a relationship that's causing you stress, a career path that's no longer fulfilling, or a limiting belief that's holding you back.
What's important is to be honest with yourself about how you're feeling and to ask yourself, is this thought or action bringing me closer to relief or further away from it? If it's pushing you upstream, it might be time to shift your focus and choose a different direction.
That's such a powerful question to ask ourselves throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I love how this whole concept emphasizes personal responsibility. We have the power to choose our thoughts, our emotions, and ultimately our reality.
Absolutely. And it's not about blaming ourselves for past mistakes or getting caught up in shame or guilt. It's about recognizing our inherent power as creators and using it consciously to create a life that feels good, aligned, and fulfilling.
Okay, friends, we've covered a lot of ground today, and I'm feeling super energized by these insights. We'll wrap up this deep dive with some final thoughts and a powerful question for you to ponder in just a moment, so stay tuned. And we are back for the final part of this deep dive into aligning with your true self and manifesting your desires.
Yeah, it's been an amazing conversation.
It really has. We've explored so much.
Sure.
Like the idea of those two vibrations, our source energy and the energy created by our thoughts and emotions, and how getting those in sync can lead to so much more harmony and fulfillment in our lives.
Right. And we talked about the emotional guidance scale, too, as that tool for understanding our level of alignment and how, even small shifts towards relief can make a huge difference in our experience.
And of course, we can't forget that analogy of, missing our stuff. Like how our resistance can make us blind to the abundance that's already there in our lives.
It's like we're searching for our glasses, but we're wearing them the whole time.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some key takeaways that our listeners can really, start applying in their lives today?
Well, first and foremost, remember that you are a powerful creator. You have the ability to choose your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately you get to shape your reality.
Yeah. It's about really owning our vibrational state and making conscious choices that align with what we truly desire.
Exactly. And as you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions, you can start to shift your focus, from what you lack to what you want, from fear and doubt to hope and possibility.
And don't forget about the power of relief. It's always there, no matter how challenging things might seem.
Even a tiny step towards relief can create, this ripple effect of positivity in your life. It helps you align with that flow of well-being and manifest your desires with so much more ease and grace.
This has been such a fantastic conversation, Louise. I feel so much more clear and inspired.
Well, it's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you, Dennis, and with all of our amazing listeners.
Before we go, I want to leave everyone with a really powerful question to think about. If you could wave a magic wand and manifest one thing in your life right now, what would it be?
And maybe even more importantly, what's one small action you can take today to move a little closer to that desire?
That's such a great question to consider. Remember, even the smallest steps can lead to amazing transformations. So take that first step, trust the process, and just watch as your dreams start to unfold.
We're so excited to see what you create.
And be sure to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. We love hearing from you and learning from your journeys.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content.
Until next time, keep shining your light and creating a life you love.